The Dallas Mavericks have now gone 14-2 in their last 16 games, and man, have they chosen a great point in the season to turn up the heat. Tonight they play Charlotte, which may be giving everybody, horror flashbacks to last season, but I'm here to say there should not be a single thing to be worried about, and I'm predicting a great game from PJ Washington as it's his first game back in Charlotte since the trade, and I'm also going to go ahead and jinx us by predicting the win. Now, something that's been on my mind recently is that the Mavericks are pretty much a lock to play the Clippers in the playoffs this season, and that's a very, very interesting matchup to me. We all know how the first two matchups against the Clippers in the playoffs went, but we also know that we have a fairly different roster on our hands. The only problem is the Clippers have also upgraded their roster quite a bit since then. In the Clippers' last 16, they have gone 9-7, which is not quite as blistering hot as they had been, but they also were dealing with injuries. With both teams healthy, this is definitely going to be an extremely entertaining matchup to watch. I will say, the Mavericks in years past, being the underdogs, had taken the Clippers with Kawhi and PG to 7 games, and that was with Boban Marjanovic playing heavy minutes in a Game 7. The Clippers can be pretty scary at times too, and, so can the Mavericks. So I'm just really excited to see this matchup live, and Luka having a seriously competitive team around him in the playoffs for, I'll say, the second time, but I'd also say this team is a lot deeper and more complete than the last. Wow, this matchup is going to be entertaining. Watching Kawhi and Luka go at it while PG and Kyrie are just trading buckets back and forth with PJ Washington flying around, blocking and stealing everything in sight. Harden stepping back and clanking it. As long as it's an elimination game, we can definitely count on Harden clanking all of his shots, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. This is going to be fun. Now, one thing I will say is to the Dallas Mavericks fans that think we just have this in the bag, you might want to prepare yourself for a very well-fought series. If you haven't watched the Clippers this season and aren't aware of what these guys are capable of on a night-to-night basis, and you're just basing it off of past seasons Clippers teams, then you might find yourself being taken aback. I am extremely excited to see what Luka does in this series, though, because, man, he's just so much better than the last time these teams matched up in the playoffs. And this guy was already giving them problems back then, hitting game winners, doing everything he can to get his team to victory. When it comes to the entire season, the Clippers have a slightly better offensive rating at 119.5 to the Mavericks' 118.2. And the Mavs have a slightly better defensive rating at 115.6 to the Clippers' 115.7. That one's a little bit closer. For the season, it's very, very close, practically neck and neck with each other. Both teams have dealt with injuries, but the Mavs definitely had the injury bug hit them a bit harder this season. I will say, since the trade deadline, though, the Mavericks have looked like the better team. Since the deadline, the Mavericks have been 7th in net rating, while the Clippers have fell just a bit to 16th in net rating. And because that sample size with the new look Mavs is really all I have to go off of, I think I'm going to take the Mavs in this series. And you already knew that. You already knew that probably coming into this video. I'm a very biased Mavs fan, and that's okay, because not a single person on this planet is looking to me for betting advice, and that's exactly how I like it. Now, I'm looking forward to see how the Dallas Mavericks play the Charlotte Hornets tonight. That gives me zero information heading into the playoffs. I really want to see them put their foot to the metal, press down the gas, go 100 miles per hour on this team. Let's put the game away in the first 2 quarters and call it a day. That's what I want to see of this Dallas Mavericks team before going to the playoffs. They have a tough matchup tomorrow against the Heat. The Heat love spoiling teams' plans at picking their seeding, doing whatever, who knows. The Mavericks have already really clinched the 5th spot, so it's not really something to be scared of, because as long as the Pelicans lose one more game, we've got the 5th spot pretty much on lock. But the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, they're looking a little spicy, and I'm not ever going to bet against them, especially towards the end of the season heading into the playoffs. Those guys know how to win games. We might have a game on our hands tomorrow night. With all that being said, keep on the lookout. I've got a nice little video coming out about our main man, PJ Washington. I know it's like the 4th video I've made on him, but this guy is getting better and better with every game, and it needs to be talked about. We cannot brush this PJ Washington play under the rug. This guy is outstanding for this Dallas Mavericks team. He is for sure the X factor going into the playoffs. And if this guy can put up close to 14 and 8, continue playing offense like he has been the past 10 game stretch, as well as playing the defense he's been playing pretty much the whole time on the Mavs, especially once he got well adjusted, we've got a player on our team that can really make a huge impact, especially in this first round, but honestly, every round. PJ, that guy's going to be on the floor for at least 35 minutes a night, probably 40 every single playoff game. If his offense can stay steady, that is a guy I want on my team. And I have him. So, suck it. If you're not a Mavs fan, that's really all I have to say. See ya. Quick side note. I completely failed to even acknowledge Dante Exum or that amazing game-tying 3 hit in the clutch. And, I also forgot to mention those nasty little corner 3s that PJ Washington made, plus his 2 clutch free throws he made in overtime. Are we going to talk about Kyrie Irving? 47? 25 in 4th quarter plus overtime? What a dog. Dante Exum, that shot was so cold. As soon as Luka tagged Dante on the wing and I saw him launching that thing, my mom was waiting on me to go to dinner and I was sitting there and I was like, Mom, no, I can't leave yet. It's not over. And I was this close to leaving and I see Luka sling that thing to the wing and Dante Exum launches that. I instantly stood up with a 3 in my hand because I knew that was going in. And we have that guy for the playoffs. Luka, Kai, Exum, PJ Gafford. Luka, Kai, Exum, PJ Maxey. Luka, Kai, Exum, PJ Lively. I don't know who's ending the games, but we're going to win them. If that's who's on our team. Dante freaking Exum. Sorry, I forgot about you, man. You're such a saint to this team. You're so clutch. I love you. Chef's kiss of a player right there, Dante Exum.